What's up, guys? Coach Vass here. Thank you for joining me with OTF Audio Daily Beats. Welcome to my studio's office/storage closet area. If you're new to these, thank you for tuning in. Listen to me talk about these workouts. If you find value in them, information is in the video description to support me. Appreciate those who have. Also, any feedback, please let me know. Shoot me a DM on GroupMe. You can also post a comment on here. Any feedback is welcome. Okay, we're going to break down Tuesday, April 8th. This will also repeat on Wednesday, the 23rd. We're going to have a power day on the treads, strength day on the rower and weight floor. As always, we'll talk about key concepts, 2G, 3G. All right, so looking at the key concepts today on the treads, we're going to see 2 blocks, 10 total all-outs. The first 5 are for 1 minute. The last 5 are for 30 seconds. Between each all-out, your walk recoveries do get longer, so you can match or beat your speed and or incline for each all-out. On the rower, 3 rounds of a 12-stroke push row. Your goal is to match or beat your distance each time. And then on the floor, you have 2 blocks of continuous work and active recovery. In block 2, you can choose mini band work or repeat the row circuit, and then head back to the weight floor for the other block. Benches are out, dumbbells, mini bands, straps, all the fun stuff. All right, so looking at the tread side first, we got a 12-minute block followed by a 90-second walk recovery, and then 9 minutes and 30 seconds for block number 2. Okay, they both start very similar. You have a 2-minute push followed by a 90-second base as a primer. Then we go into the 5 all-outs. Block 1, you have 1 minute all-outs 5 times. The first one will get a 30-second walk recovery, and then after that, the walk recoveries increase by 45 seconds each time. With this objectively longer recovery, the first 2 all-outs, because keep in mind they just did 4.5 minutes, and then they only get a 30-second walk recovery, they should be able to at least maintain what they do on that second and possibly third all-out. But by the time they get the 1 minute walk recovery and definitely the 75-second walk recovery, we should have them aim to increase the intensity, whether that's 0.1 more on the speed, 0.5% on the incline. For the bikes and striders, I wouldn't necessarily go higher on the gear, but maybe a combination of higher gear / higher RPM to increase their overall wattage output would be a good way to gauge improvement. So knowing that with the buy-in 2-minute push 90 base doesn't have to be too aggressive. It's more about just getting the body moving. 5% or greater if they power walk. Joggers and runners, you could keep them right about 1.5-ish over their base. Bikes and striders, about 3 or 4 over their base for that 2-minute push. They'll use those 90 seconds of base to find their footing, recover, stay loose, and then they tackle their first all out. Now, knowing that the walk recoveries do get longer, I like to set people up for success and recognize that, hey, their first all out kind of sets the tone. If they choose to be conservative, that's their choice, but they definitely should increase every single time. Otherwise, if they truly empty out the tank, let's do our best to maintain or stay as close to that all out as possible. That's going to be very case by case decision for the members. So know your member crowd and what would be best for them. When we look at block 2, it is set up the exact same way. 2-minute push, 90 base, but now the all-outs are 30 seconds each, and walk recoveries follow the same format. 30, 45, 1 minute, and a minute 15. Now, because these are 30-second all-outs, whatever they finish block 1 with, use that as a springboard and try to bump up from that, because it's going to be half the duration anyways. And that's it. Like, simple. 5 all-outs in block 1, 5 all-outs in block 2. This is an opportunity to talk about heart rate response, the peaks and valleys, max effort, max recovery. This is the day where, hey, we're telling you to walk, so you should walk. If you need to walk during your base on an endurance day versus get into base during a walk recovery, something's not quite right, so on and so forth. Anyways, that's the tread side. Looking at the rower weight floor, block 1, they'll start with a 12-stroke push row. They'll take as much rest as they need, and then they'll do it again. They have a total of 3 rounds of their 12-stroke push row. Now, in the 2G and the 3G, they don't give a recommended stroke rate range, but this is a strength-focused row. So use your best judgment, and I highly encourage you to coach members to keep their stroke rate on the lower end. So rather than high stroke rate to keep high power, let's focus on the leg drive, patience on the return, quality strokes, probably around 20, maybe up to 24 strokes per minute at most. Personally, what I would do is the first round, a slightly higher stroke rate, and then take a very long recovery. The next attempt, try to do it 1 stroke rate lower, and then the third one, drop it another 1 stroke rate, because that's going to give them more time between each stroke to allow the water to cover more distance. They will naturally get further every single time. At the start of every row, they will clear out their screen, start from 0 with 12 strokes. With the carryover, people should hit close to about 150 plus on the distance. So aim to get at least 120 by that 12th stroke, but the water keeps going, so they still continue to collect distance. Once they finish their 3 rounds, they'll go over to the weight floor. We're gonna have bench chest fly, and then the bench single arm low row. This is where same hand, same knee are on the bench, and then the one arm is doing the row, and then single leg bridge with the foot on the bench. The first movement obviously is going to be the most challenging with the highest rep count with that chest fly, and then the low row, it is 10 on each side, and then the foot bridge is 5 per side, but we are alternating between movement muscle groups, so minimal downtime as they go from chest back into hips, and they'll repeat that for the remainder of the block. Time frame wise, between the 3 rows, that should put them around 3 or 4 minutes. So they'll have about 7+ minutes for the work and recovery. They should get about 2 or 3 rounds of that. Now, block 2, the members have the choice. They could repeat the row circuit, 12-stroke push row, rest 3 rounds, or they could do mini bands. They'll have some hip activation work with the crunch hold in and out, and then the seated knee tuck. Now, for the crunch hold in and out, the big thing is feet start apart, they go wider, they come back in, and they stay apart. What I like to do for members is, as they are doing that, I like to kind of stand near them, and I'll actually place my hands between their feet, and I inform them to not touch my hands. So that way they don't bring their feet close, they keep the tension on the band. The other thing is slower is better. So yes, they can go out fast, but really resist the band on the return, and that's going to get a much bigger burn on the side of the hips. Now for the knee tuck, same thing. Try to keep the knees and feet parallel as they do that tuck. We don't want the knees to flare out and then the feet to come in. Try to keep them the same distance apart as they go out and back. So they should really feel the side of the hips as well as the midline. If they choose to do the mini band work, it's just like the rower. They'll do the movements, they'll do rest, and then do again for 3 rounds. And then for the work and active recovery, we're gonna have dumbbell front squats, goblet step down toe taps, and then the strap Y raise. So front squats and the toe tap, very quad dominant movements. And then the strap Y raise hitting, posterior shoulders, which should be feeling pretty good after some of that front loaded work, which hits more of the anterior delt shoulders. And then for the finisher, it's going to be a front squat. And that's the 2G. Looking at the 3G block, treads, we're going to have 2 blocks. Rowers are going to be 2 blocks. Weight floor is going to be 1 long block. On the tread side, they will start just like the 2G with a primer. Primer is only a 30-second push, 30-second base. And then it's just 4 all-outs here. So 8 total, otherwise the same thing. So 1 minute for block 1, 30, 45, 1-minute walk recoveries between each all-out. There's a 90-second recovery after the last one as we move into block 2. And then block 2, you have the same buy-in, 30 push, 30 base, and then 30-second all-outs, 4 of them, with the 30, 45, 1-minute walk recovery after each one. For the rower, in block 1, 15-stroke push row, and then the single leg calf raise. Med ball's gonna be at the chest. They'll do 8 calf raises on one leg, 8 on the other. That's when I would have people check their distance and then get back on the rower and then clear out the screen and do another 15 strokes. With the 15 strokes, by that 15th one, they should be at least 150 plus meters, but with the carryover, it'll probably put them about 170, 180, and that's what they're trying to improve on every round. They'll have 7 minutes and 15 seconds for block 1, so aiming to get at least 3, maybe 4 rounds in. In block 2, it is now a 12-stroke push row, And then you have the med ball single leg angled press. So as they stand on one foot, med ball is going to go up at a 45-degree angle, so not straight up overhead, also not right in front, but happy medium right in between. They'll do 5 on one leg, 5 on the other. As they press out to that 45-degree angle, the natural tendency is people would lean back. So think about ab activation, kind of crunch forward into it. They'll finish with a 30-second all-out when the treads hit that. So at the 4-minute and 30-second mark, have the rowers stop what they're doing, get back on that rower and get ready, because they'll launch at 4 minutes and 45 seconds with the treads. Now on the weight floor, it is just the work and active recovery circuits from block 1 and 2. They're going to do the block 1 circuit for 2 rounds. So chest fly, low row, bridge. And then they'll do the next block in the 2G, front squat, goblet step down, toe tap, and then the Y raise for 2 rounds. When they finish that, they'll do all 6 as one big block. And then they have the choice of either chest fly or front squats. And there's your 3G. As always, any feedback, let me know. Information is in description to support me. You guys got this. Reach out if you have any questions. Coach it down.